In this video I'm going to carry out an experiment to see whether turning, or rather rotating, my brifters on my handlebars will help improve comfort, and if that change has any negative effects. For years we've used the brifters like this, with them basically pointing straight ahead. However, a few years ago the pros started turning their brifters in like this. That was so they could move their hands closer together and therefore get an aerodynamic advantage. It struck me that there were also potential ergonomic advantages, that is, increased comfort. My main approach to handlebar comfort is to use these so-called aero bars, and there's a video about that in the top right hand of the screen. I try to spend as much time on the tops here as possible. However, I spend not an insubstantial amount of time on the top of the brifter hoods, like that, or more often halfway between the hood and the tops, like that. Now, when I'm not on the tops, I have three issues. First of all, my wrist is bent back. Secondly, I get a little bit of pressure on my finger there from the brake hood. And thirdly, the natural position of my hand when it's resting is at a slight angle. Rotating these brifter hoods could tackle all three of those issues. They're not big issues, so I'm not expecting any dramatic improvements. Okay, I'm going to adjust these brifters. In order to do that, I just need to pull this back, loosen the Allen bolt off, and then I should be able to rotate this. I'm not going to angle it in too much, between 5 and 10 degrees. Right, I'll do the same on this side now. So I did this on my gravel bike for a couple of reasons. First of all, the handlebars are quite wide, so it allows me to experiment a bit more safely. And secondly, I've got mechanically actuated disc brakes on, so the effect of changing the angle that the brake cable goes through should be more dramatic than on a bike with hydraulic disc brakes. Putting my hands on there, it doesn't feel dramatically different. My wrist does feel a bit straighter. Moving the brakes like that, they don't feel any different. Right then, let's change some gears. Front gear changer, no difference. Rear gear changer, no difference. Let's try the brakes. Yep, they still work. As for riding on the drops, I don't notice any significant difference. There is one other handlebar position that I haven't in the past used very often, and that's resting my wrist on the top of the bars and the ball of my hands on the top of the brifter hoods. I haven't used it very often in the past because with the straight lever hoods I found my wrists bend back too far. Now these have been turned in, my wrists are actually a little bit straighter and I find it less uncomfortable. So maybe with these hoods turned in, I'll adopt this position a little bit more, and therefore my efforts to go for comfort may have aerodynamic advantage too. So there are advantages of the brifters being turned in. I can only think of one real disadvantage, and that's stretching the meaning of the word, and that is when I rest my hands on the tops of the brifters, the position just feels a bit odd. Now I suspect that is something I will get used to. So for the next few weeks I'll leave the brifters in this position, and at the end of those couple of weeks I'll make a short that will let you know whether I've stuck with that position or not. From me, until the next video, it's goodbye.